Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vasanta has asked me to talk on death. Why not we talk on life? Death is the highest illusion. Nobody has ever died. And when somebody dies, he is never miserable. Others are miserable. Imagine, suppose I die now here. I will be relaxed. You will have problem how to dispose of this fellow. We all suffer never because of death. We suffer because of the fear of death. See, friends. And once you come to know that nobody has ever died, then you cannot be but happy in and through every moment of your life. See, it is possible. It's not difficult. The only thing we have to think a little bit, not much. So when we talk about death, first of all, whose death? See, when we say ignorance, ignorance is not an object, is it not? Ignorance of mathematics, ignorance of politics, ignorance of cooking, ignorance of driving. So ignorance is not an object of something. So when we talk about death, about whose death we are talking? First question. So let us take one by one. Who dies? This topic comes in Mahabharata. Mama, please come. We are waiting for you. Come in the front. There are two special seats for you. Now you can't sleep.
Thank you. You were waiting for us.
So, this topic comes in Mahabharata, wherein the student is a blind king and his minister tells him so many things. And when he hears all that, he said, come on, you know so many things. Is there something what you know and I don't know? So the minister says, of course there is one thing. What is that? He says, death is an impossibility. Wow, death is an impossibility? Yes. Nobody has ever died. See, friends. Swamiji, you must not have read the book Many Masters, Many Lives of the Catherine story, isn't it? Dumb book of the world. Nobody has ever died. So, first of all, find out who dies. So, let us take one by one. The first is, we see the people dying. What we see is not what is. See? I'll tell you, recently I was in England and there was some communication gap. In a temple they had invited me for a lecture, but in their diary probably they forgot to write that there is a lecture. So when we reached there, the person concerned was so surprised. He said, we have no information about you. How can you just drop in? And then he saw the diary. He said, yes, there is mention, but it's not confirmation. I said, never mind. Food is prepared. I'll eat food and go. My only concern is to eat and sleep. So the other person said, no, you have come, you speak something to us. I said, okay. And there were two dilapidated ladies sitting in front of me, having a sleep or some kind of, a disability to hear or see like that. Now you talk. Now to talk to such a great audience, two ladies who are unable to even understand what is happening. So I told him, to whom should I talk? To the furniture or wall? So that man became very angry. Whenever we become angry, our ego has taken out the hood of poison. Anger is an expression of very strong ego. So he said, I stay in this temple all the time and my God is with me. I talk to him, you talk to God. I said, okay, sir. I started my talk. After the talk was over, then few people came and it became a big gathering and they were so attentively listening. After the talk was over, he came, he did namaskar and said, Swamiji, I am extremely sorry. I spoke to you so rudely and I talked to you so nonsense. You please forgive me. Be attentive. What he saw me as a body, and when my talk was over, what he saw me was the embodied, is it not? So when we say death, whose death? What we see is not what is. See, friends. So what we see, that the bodies die. Now let us analyze. Really, even do the bodies die? Once I was in somebody's house, here only in Atlanta, and they had one or two children like Ram has, and that boy was very, very intelligent, and he has prepared many things out of those plastic blocks. House, car, aeroplane, bridge, town, everything. He says, Swami, please come, I'll show you something great. So I went to his room. He showed me. I said, what is the use of seeing? You are not going to give me anything. Why should I see? He said, no, you take whatever you want. I said, very good. I don't have a house, so I'll take this house. He said, no problem, but I will take out my blocks. See? So when the blocks were taken out of that house, is that house destroyed? Think. Cars, what we talk about, cars are born at the end of the assembly line. All the parts are separate. The robots come and put the chassis first, and then it starts, please come ahead. And you can land here, there is a place. So, the car slowly starts getting assembled and ultimately it rolls out. See? For example, Ford. One person who was a fan of this Toyota, I asked him, I said, why don't you buy Ford? It's your American car. He said, no, but I am not American. I am British. Then he said, do you know what is Ford? Fix or repair daily. Now what is that car? The car is nothing but assembly of parts. Now be attentive. Is the car meant for the chassis? Is the car meant for the wheels? Is the car meant for the steering? Is the car meant for the wipers? Is the car meant for the boot? No. The car is meant for someone who does not form a part of the total assembly. Is it not? Get this point clearly. In the same manner, what is our body? Our body is an assembly of 5 great elements. See? How God created this body, He took, if you had gone to India, in particularly Bombay, on the seaside, there are people, they are selling some rare dishes. And here people talk about recycling. In India, everything is recycled. Human beings are also recycled. So they will be taking the old newspaper, cut into a small piece, make a cone out of it, a recycled paper cone. And in that he will be adding few ingredients and ultimately spices and move like this and give it to you to eat. Exactly the same way God created all these bodies. He took the cone of space, in that He added the 4 elements and pumped life in that, and the body is born. And when the body drops, what happens? First, the fire element goes back to the fire element. The air element goes back to the air element. The water element goes back to the water element. And the earth element goes back to the earth. And the space where this body was formed, the space is released for another body. Who died? Think. Nobody dies. Very simple thing, friends. We were all born kids. Nobody is born big. Then we were so sweet, chubby. Anybody will come, lift us, hug us, kiss us, talk to us. But I don't know what happened these days. Whenever I go anywhere, people take the old newspaper, read it upside down, even don't look at me. I don't know what happened to the people. Now see, when the body was child, I was a child. Where the child body has gone? Investigation. Report to the police. The child body has disappeared and a teenage body has come. So when the child body disappears, do we mourn? On the contrary, every child has only one dream: when I become big. So what happened to that child body? See, friends, here in probably Illinois or somewhere, I went to somebody's house for food. That is one of my professional hazards. I eat food in 365 multiplied by 3 houses in a year. You can imagine what a stamina my stomach must be having. So when I entered their house, the entrance was side and right in front there was a big wall. And on that wall there were photographs nicely framed, about 18 of them. You know, in your statistics you have got histogram to indicate, the bars. So like that there were photographs, the same dress. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 16 years, 17, 18 years. When I look at it, and I went inside. So the mother said, Swamiji, have you seen that? I said, yes. What is there to see? I have come for food, nothing else. You should be single pointed in life. He said, these are the photographs of my children. I said, my God, you have got 18 children? I said, no, I got only one, But these, every year on his birthday, we used to take the picture exactly in the same dress. I said, where is this boy? He said, he's there. I said, can he come down? Request him. Here you can't tell anybody, you can only request only. So that boy came. I said, hey, these are your pictures? Yes. Among these 18 pictures, which is you? Find out. Is the picture you or this body you? Who are you? See, friends, if I am body and if I am born as a body, then that body is constantly changing. Who knows that the body is changing? Someone who is not changing. Any change is established only with reference to a changeless reference, is it not? When big projects are constructed, what they do, on the day of inauguration or whatever, they take a picture. And in that picture, there is one reference point, a big hillock or a big rock, which they are not going to dismantle, which is going to remain there, or a huge tree. And then after every month, they take the picture. And with reference to that unchanging principle, they see how much change is happening, is it not? In the same manner, the childhood body we all experience, where it has gone. Do we cry? No. But it is not there. Then the teenage body has come. In that teenage body, all kinds of things we have done. Ha ha, ho. But that also has gone. So when the teenage goes, do we mourn? Oh God. No. Then the middle-aged body has come. Where that middle-aged body has gone? See, so many bodies have come and gone. We did not mourn. This old body, let it go, who cares? See, in Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, there is one verse. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara praptihi dhiras tatra namuyati. This body goes through so many stages. Birth, growth, modifications. First the body starts growing vertically, then it hits the ceiling, then it starts growing horizontally. See, friends, so when so many bodies have come and gone, we did not care. Why should we care when this wretched old body goes away? On the contrary, it's a freedom. This happened in Sikkim, in the hilly state of India. I was invited there by my friend to see his mother. And my friend was 72 not out. So his mother cannot be young. So I thought she may be dilapidated in the bed, and I had to go and talk to her. Mama, how are you? Take care. Now you can chant the Lord's name. That alone will come with you. All that kind of thinking was going in my mind when I was going. So we had to drive for about half an hour. Then in a hillock, their house was there. So I had to climb at least 500 steps in that hills. And there was a big compound, a beautiful house. And in that compound there was one lady, and she asked me, "Oh, my son has sent you." I was shocked. She even did not say to me, "Please come inside." She started taking my interview. She said, "Tell me, I have tried everything. I couldn't understand what she is talking. I had tried everything. I smoke, I drink, I eat tobacco, I eat non-vegetarian. My eyes are perfect. I can bite even the nut without getting difficulty. My digestion is perfect. I am 106 years old. I have disposed of many of my grandchildren. How long I have to live? Tell me. And what for? Friends, everything has a purpose. We don't buy a car for the sake of the car. Car is just a means. Buying a car cannot be the goal of life. Think. To have a beautiful house cannot be a goal of life. In South Africa it happened. One person took me to his house. He had 11 bedrooms, a mansion kind of thing. And only these two oldies were staying, husband and wife. So when I went, then he said, Swamiji, I will show you my house. I said, what is there to see the house? Walls and in between space. What more to see there? No, you please come. So he took me all around all the rooms, and every room the same rubbish. This is the room, this is the bathroom, this is the room, this is the bathroom. What else can you see? So I saw that religiously. I told you these are my professional hazards. And then I had to say, oh, it's very beautiful, although it is not. I had to say it's beautiful. I learned the art of talking lies only because of this. After that, when we came back to the dining table, he said, Swamiji, see, such a big house I have constructed, but none of my children want to come and stay with me. Now tell me, he started crying, tell me, what will I do with this such a big house? I said, look here, I am here to solve your problem. Write the property in my name and relax. See, friends, what for we constructed the house? To become miserable? And are our children furniture? That they should come and stay with us? And who are we? Old, outdated. And the signs of the old person is, he never lives in the present. All the time, when we were children, who cares? All the time, talking about the past, talking about the past. The reason is, they have only past, they have no future. So the body that we are carrying as a burden on ourselves throughout life, what must be the purpose of the body? Like many people tell me about yoga. I never do any yoga. They say, Swamiji, you don't do yoga? I said, no, I am not in favor of yoga. No, but it keeps your body healthy. I said, what will you do with a healthy body? What is the purpose? See, all our terrorist friends, they are all healthy, is it not? Have you seen any terrorist going with a gun and tell, hey, please hold her, I got a back pain? No. What will you do with the health? See, friends, the body is not the goal of life. Body is a means. Like the house is a means, and somebody lives in the house. One day I went to see my friend in Goa. So I knocked the door and the maid servant opened. And I said, hey, he is there? No, Swamiji has gone out. I said, okay, I'll come later. No, please come in. He may not be there, but the furniture is there, and the walls are there, and the room, the other things are there. Have I gone to see the furniture? Think. Are my lips talking? Or somebody behind the lips is talking? Are your eardrums hearing? Or there is somebody who is hearing, if hearing? Think. The body is just a house. where we are living. And as we live in our house, we have to take care of the house. But we don't live for the sake of the house. The house is for me, I am not for the house. Think, friends. But our whole life is spent only taking care of this body. And we see other bodies dying, and I have taken this thing that I am the body, and therefore, what happens after death? I was in a university in India. Students were from class 10 to 12. Youngsters, teenagers. Naturally, when I talk to that kind of audience, it will be inspiration, ambition, success, dynamism, achievements. That is the theme. And after my talk was over, I said, questions may be asked only by the students because I was addressing the students. Anybody other than the student asking a question will not be entertained. And yet, one oldie teacher got up and he said, Swamiji, I have got a question. I said, I am sorry. I am very specific. I am not going to answer your question. He got very angry. Old people get angry for no reason. Got very angry. And he walked out. I said, who cares? You walk away. After everything was over, then I was with the principal in his room over a cup of tea. I said, sir, please call that teacher. I will extend profuse apologies to him. So the teacher came. I said, sir, I am sorry. I did not reply your question because your question was a wrong question in a wrong place. He was still angry. How do you know what was my question? Even without listening to my question, you insulted me. I said, sir, your question was, what happens after death? He nearly jumped out of his skin. He said, wow, how do you know? This was my question. I said, from your face, you are not living. You are already dead. See, friends. Then I told him, now I answer your question. What happens after death? I said, tell me, who are you, Hindu, Muslim, Christian? Of course, I am a Hindu. I said, okay, we'll burn your body. No, not that way. I said, okay, when you die, there will be one day holiday for the school, but don't die on Sunday. You will waste one holiday. No, what happens to the soul after the body dies? So the first principle, we have to accept it. That body that is created is nothing but assembly of the five great elements. When these five great elements are disintegrated, nothing is lost. In physics, we have the rule, when a candle burns, nothing is lost. So we are afraid and suffering because of that which has never happened. Think, friends. When this thinking becomes clear, then you will not talk about death. You will start living. See, friends, remove this illusion of death from the head. Nobody, every religion they tell, if you do sin, you go to hell. If you do merit, you go to heaven. They also tell you that you are dumb. Do you accept it? No. Why do you accept that? Those who are sending you to hell and heaven, they have not seen either hell or heaven. There was one man, very fat, huge, rich. In Delhi it happened. After my satsang was over, we were sitting in a open place, very nice, fresh area. So there was a very big group sitting around me on the floor, and I was sitting on a chair. He came dashing everybody and landed on my feet. I said, keep away, don't take away my feet, sit there. Then he said, Swamiji, please save me. I said, saved. Do you know, I have done all kinds of sins in my life. You name the sin I have committed. Now I am afraid. I don't want to go to the hell. They say these sins, if you commit, you go to hell. Please protect me, please protect me. I said, first principle, I guarantee you will not go to hell. Really? I said, yes. But after doing so many sins, I am not going to go to hell. I said, no. How come? I said, where are you now? When you are not at peace with yourself, you are in hell. Hell is not a place. Technically speaking, it is called as loka, swarga loka, narak loka. Loka means experience. A person who is not at peace with himself or herself is already established in hell. Be at peace with yourself. We all suffer, never because of others. We suffer because of ourselves. See, friends, so they tell us, if you do good, you go to heaven. If you do bad, you go to hell. This happened here only in USA many years before, maybe in 80s. I was in some mall. In the parking lot I was walking. My friend had some work, he dropped me there. He said, Swamiji, I got 2 hours, I have to go. I said, okay, drop me there, I'll take my walk. So when I was walking, there was one pastor or brother came in a car. He stopped the car and he asked me, hey, you are from India? I said, of course. Then he said, do you believe in Jesus? I said, no, I believe in Lord Jesus. He is not a pal, he is divine. I believe in Lord Jesus. He said, then you are a Christian? I said, of course I am a Christian. But you are from India, then you are a Hindu? I said, yes, I am a Hindu. He got very wild. He said, how come you are both Christian and Hindu? I said, these days latest technology, 2 in 1. So when I said 2 in 1, he became very angry with me. If you say like this, you will go to hell. So when he sent me to hell, I asked him, excuse me, where will you go? He said, of course I am going to go to heaven. I said, if you go to heaven, I will prefer hell. To whom are you threatening? Friends, please understand the principle, the purpose. Unless we understand the purpose of something, we are simply groping in darkness. Everything has to be purposeful. See? Now they tell us that after you die, you go to hell and heaven. Now just try to understand the statement, the depth of the statement. Good or bad karma, this karma is another funny thing in this world. In the last life you have done bad karma, therefore you are married to this lady in this life. So you are suffering because of your wife, not because of your wife. In the last life you have tortured her. So she has come as a revengeful attitude and she won't leave you. No, but Swamiji, what can I do? I don't remember. You may not remember. The data is the divine computer is not deleted. It remains there. Then what can I do now? Now stop blaming her for all your miseries. Be responsible for everything in your life. We all are expert in blaming others for our miseries in life. If I am a husband, I am miserable because of my wife. If I am a father, I am miserable because of my children. If I am a doctor, I am miserable because of the patient. If I am a patient, I am miserable because of the doctor. We have these default settings, expert in blaming others for all the miseries of our life. The first step is stop blaming others. We have to be responsible for our life. It is for this purpose we are told all the good and the bad things that are happening in our life, it is because of our karma in the last life. And whatever good or bad we have done in the earlier body, that body has died, it's gone away, but you are still there. And in this body you are the same one. And when this body will be dropped, because whatever good or bad karma you have done, in the next life you are answerable to that. What is the meaning of this statement? We existed before this body was born. We are existing in this body. When this body drops, we continue to exist. Where is death? See, in one place, one person asked me about this book. Swamiji, but in that book, that is the life story of Catherine. Many masters, many lives. I said, I don't know what you have understood. What I understood, she has gone through so many lives. She never died. That is the purpose of the story. Like before coming to your beautiful place, I was in Washington, D.C. Before coming to Washington, D.C., I was in London. Before London, I was in Bristol. Before Bristol, I was in Birmingham. Before that, I was in China. Before that, I was in Melbourne. I am the same. Where did I die? To understand this principle, I'll suggest you try to see one movie. I am very fond of movies. And the movie is R.I.P.D. Have you seen it? No? You have wasted your life. That movie is Rest in Peace Department. Don't go into the cinema aspect of that movie, but the principle which is told really touched my heart. It is so beautifully brought out, hilariously, beautifully. Two police officers, they are investigating something, they go on a tall building. And for some reason, they engage in some kind of argument. So one police officer takes the pistol and shoots the other fellow. And all the stories, he falls down on the ground. And immediately, the moment he touches the ground, everything is frozen. But he doesn't die. He gets up. And then he goes to the heavens. The Gabriel receives him. And then they see his credentials. And they say, he will be our agent in the world. So he is given a name and he moves around. He is able to see everything, but nobody can see him. And the story goes. And then he is watching his wife. He is miserable, but she can't see him. As the time passes, her miseries disappear. She falls in love with somebody, gets married, and he is watching, oh, she is now forgotten me. Now she is getting married to the other fellow. And again something happens, then a big blast happens. In that blast, she also dies. The cars are in the space, the windows are broken, people are shattered, everything is frozen. And this lady who died, she gets up. And her dead husband, he comes, and they put hands and hand together and walk away. Who died? Friends, we don't die. Remove that fear from your head that you are going to die. Nobody has ever died. So when I have been moving from here to there, that place is dead for me, but I am still alive. Think. Even if you want, you cannot die. Death is an impossibility. And with this body, we move in this world, giving so much importance. Now think about this body. Is this body created by us? Our parents created the body. So who has the first right on our body? Parents, not us. It is something like somebody has constructed a house or a flat for investment, and then we go and rent it out. See, in the same manner, parents have created this condominium and we entered there. And we started claiming, this is my house. What logic it is? The body is neither created by us, nor the body ever listens to us. Who wants to become fat? But the body becomes. There are people who want to become fat, they are absolutely like a joystick, but they cannot become fat. Even if they eat the whole buffalo alive, they cannot become fat. And there are other extreme. There are people who are fat. They look at the ice cream and they put on 2 kilograms of weight. What control? See, friends, the body is neither created by us nor the body listens to us. And yet, this body I am. All the problems of life begin from this body identification. Our existence is not because of the body is because of us. In the dream, this body doesn't function. In the deep sleep, there is no body identification. Yet we live. We don't die. Think. Then why all the religions talk about death? Only to frighten us. Crowds can be controlled by 2 techniques. One is inculcating fear, and second is inculcating guilt. A guilty and fearful person is controlled by a remote. Think, friends, nobody has ever died, nor any one of us is ever going to die. Now the question comes, why this fear and how to get rid of this fear? So the fear is only because we have a mistaken identity. We have mistaken ourselves to be the body. Now be attentive. In the deep sleep, when we are not identified with the body, what is our experience? Number 1, we don't have a sense of incompleteness. Number 2, we don't have a sense of otherness. And because of these 2 things, we have no possessions, we have no relations. In the deep sleep, we are neither husband nor wife, neither mother nor father, neither American nor Australian, neither Muslim nor Christians. We are nobody. We have nothing. Net result, we are happy. Has anybody ever said, I slept for 8 hours and I am damn tired? No. So 8 hours of sleep, so happy we were. What is the cause? Only one cause. We were not identified with the body. After we get identified with the body, second generation is born. After that, we become mother, father, brother, sister, husband, wife. Find out where are they? Can we separate the husband from the man? Suppose I am married. Just example. Thank God I am not. Suppose I am married. Can you sort out, separate out the husband from the man that I am? Think. Where is this husband? Where is this wife? Be very attentive. It's a very simple thing, not difficult. See, when I as a husband was miserable, then my wife died. Thereafter, who is becoming miserable? Husband cannot become miserable because without wife he cannot be husband. And man can never become husband, miserable. So who is miserable? The non-existing entity called as mother, father, brother, sister, husband, wife, they are miserable. Think, friends. When I divorced, should I say husband died? When I again get married, should I say husband born? Then again I divorce, husband died. I repeat it 3 times. So, husband 1, H1, husband 2, H2, husband 3, H3. Are they equal or are they at all? Think. Those who are thinking of death, those who are miserable, they do not exist. The purpose of our body is only for this purpose. Come to discover, you are inhabitant of this house. When the house is dropped, who cares? Go and stay in another house. Think. Remove this wrong notion that either as a body we die or as a soul we die. In every religion they tell, if you do good and bad, you go to hell and heaven. That means you are still there, is it not? So when did you die? Whichever way you think, problem is you have to think. Whichever you think properly, death is an impossibility. With this wisdom, play the game of life. And the game of life is, we all have to play different roles. Play your role perfectly well. Then start acting. Let us be actors on the stage of life. Instead of remaining as actors, we become reactors. We react to everything. Don't react. Act. Suppose you are a military big officer, general. So when you are in the office, roar there like a lion because you are an officer. But when you come home before the wife, don't forget now your role has changed. There, be a cat. Meow, meow. You will be successful both the places. But if you forget, you come from your work and talk to the wife in the same mode. Hey, where is glass of water? You say, forget. Play this role. And once we know this art of playing the roles, you will never think about death. You will think about living. Think about life. Thinking and talking about death is talking about that which doesn't exist. See, friends, therefore, the more you contemplate on this, so we come to a point, we are embodied, living in this body, and therefore someone other than the body. Now don't stop here, now start working further. What will be the experience if we are other than the body? Don't become serious, start playing. See? Like, I am other than this bottle. If this bottle is thrown in a garbage, Am I thrown in a garbage? No. If this bottle contains filth, am I filthy? No. Because it is other than me. In the same manner, if I am other than the body, what does it mean? It means the attributes of the body, they don't pertain to me. Now find out what are the attributes of the body. Body has birth, body has growth, body has death, and body is absent. Now find out this. Do we have the experience of birth? Somebody tells, this is your date of birth, and we accept it. See? One day, for some reason, I was in a maternity ward hospital, and my friend had some kind of exchange of argument with the nurse. His wife was to deliver. So the nurse became very angry. He said, if you step inside the hospital, I'll call police. Keep away. Some kind of argument. It was night, 12:30 like that. So my friend phoned me, Swamiji, please come. I don't know what happened to this. She doesn't allow me, and my wife is inside. I don't know what is happening. So I got up and went there. And then I talked to that nurse. She said, you can come and see. I said, look here, that is his baby. I am not interested at all. Let him go. No question. He will not come in. There must have been a prestige issue, you know. So my friend Swamiji, at least you go and see what has happened. So I went and see, that is the lady, his wife. So she went and saw the band. Okay. Then there were children lying. And then she saw another band. This is the baby. Oh, very good, nice. Newly born children are most ugly. We may call them beautiful. They are like squirrels. That is the first time I have seen a newly born child, hardly few, not even few hours. So after all that was over, I said, hey, what is the time of birth? So she told 12:28. I said, I agree, I am not arguing, okay? I am a Swami, I want to learn in my life. My whole life is a process of learning. If you don't get angry, then I'll ask. He said, no, you ask me. I said, how did you know exactly 12:28 this child was born? Were you waiting for the child? And there is not one lady, there are dozens of them in a queue. And you are the only one nurse. How do you know exactly? He said, you are very intelligent, Swami, I'll tell you. What is that? If we tell the parents a round figure, the child is born at 12 o'clock, they don't believe. So we have to make it odd. So 12:28. If I say 12:30, I say I am bluffing. Neither we know that we are born and at particular time, and they make the horoscope, the horrible scope. Neither you are ever born, friends, nor we have the experience that we are growing. Do we have the experience we are growing? We don't have. 2 times we get shocks in our life. First time, when a young girl is addressed by some kids, Auntie, what is the time? First shock in life, when the kids call you auntie or uncle. We don't experience that we are growing. The second shock we get, when somebody addresses, Grandpa, please sit down. Don't call me Grandpa, I am young. And see the pathetic joke of the old people. This happened in India. I was taking breakfast in a yoga institution. Morning time, about 8 o'clock. One old couple from Delhi came for whatever and sat next to me. And that old man asked me this question. Excuse me, can you tell me what is my age? You meet somebody on a dining table in the morning, to an unknown person you ask this question? So I looked at him, I said 3 years. Because such a stupid question cannot be asked by a grown-up person. He said, no, no, tell really. I said, okay, I'll tell you. You are 81 years young. When I told him you are 81 years young, he was so happy. You are the only one who has correctly understood me. Because, I said, let me complete. Because the people think that you are 18 years old. Is it not? You are so perfect. Now what is trying to prove? Body is growing, but I am not growing. Is it not our experience? Nobody has the experience we are growing. It is the body that grows. So the body is born. We have no experience that we are born. The body grows. We have no experience that the body and I am growing. Similarly, the body dies. Nobody has the experience of death. Why worry? Come to discover this. And for this, we don't have to be anything or anybody. Doesn't matter what you are. As long as you are human being is enough. We are not sending you to hell or heaven. If you don't believe in me, you will go to hell. No. There is no hell. There is no heaven. Only you. Discover that. And see the joy of life. The joy of life will be like what? On the stage, by the way, I am a very good actor. So whenever I act on the stage, one day in one of the places I was acting, the story was developed in favor of me, a lot of sympathy. And I came on the stage and some bad people were hurting me, hitting me, and I was crying away, and the glycerin tears were coming out and all kinds of things, and the whole audience was crying, taking out the tissue paper and cleaning their nose. In the digital world, they don't cry with the eyes, they cry with the nose. So they take tissue paper. And this was a question one person asked me, Swamiji, why these days these ladies, they don't wipe their eyes, they wipe their nose only. What is the reason? Because there is a lacrimal duct which brings the tears from the eyes into the nose and it comes out. No, there must be some reason. I said the reason is they have eyelashes fixed on their eyebrows. And when the eyelids, and when they will wipe their eyes, the eyelashes will come out and the makeup will be destroyed. Therefore, they have a standardized crying practice. So when they were crying because of my pathetic experience on the stage, what goes on in my mind? Array, you fools, you are paying and crying really. I am paid and I am crying fake. It is just a drama. So, for all practical purposes, I was crying. But was I crying? I was enjoying. In the same manner, friends, whatever role we have to play, play your role cheerfully and happily. If you are required to show that you are pathetic, show pathetic, but be happy. See, friends, once I went to somebody's place, my old friend took me. He said, Mama, there is a seat here, please come. Come in the front. Somebody can bring her here. You lead her. So there are 2 seats here, exclusively reserved for you. Please, Bitesi Chanji. So, my friend, his friend died, and his friend of that time I was very young, and his friend of mine was very old, must be about 70, 80 like that. He said, Swamiji, my friend died, we have to go to that house. I said, come. We went. the dead body was lying there. According to their tradition, you have to take the flowers, offer the flowers, do namaskar, take a circling around it and sit down. I did that. Then he told me, Swamiji, please speak something on Gita. I said, look here, he is not listening. For whom to talk? Then I said, sit here with a frown on your face for 2 minutes, do a good acting that you are really unhappy. And after I said, now let's go. We went out. Then next appointment was a birthday party of a child. So when I went, the children were waiting. You know that cone type of, Santa Claus type of thing, they put on my head, and then we were dancing and all that. And this old man, he was standing there as if he is going to die now. Then he said, Swamiji, what kind of man you are? I said, what happened? There you are showing, there you are miserable. And here you are dancing with the children. I said, look here. If you want to be miserable, continue. I am in this world. The purpose of my life is be an instrument through which happiness is freely distributed to the world. Only purpose of our life. The purpose of the bulb is to give light. See, friends, we are born only for one purpose. Let us be an instrument which is distributing happiness. And the more happiness you distribute, the more happiness you discover. Instead of discovering our inherent happiness, we are seeking happiness in this world. The seekers of happiness have declared their bankruptcy in happiness. Discover. How to start? Just start pretending that you are happy. Somebody asks you, hey, how are you? Don't tell the truth. See, in one place I went to one of my friends, and they had an old lady in their house, almost 1995. So as a courtesy, I used to go first to her and do namaskar to her, take her blessing. And I did a mistake. I said, Mama, how are you? She said, please sit down. And she started. See, Swamiji, this morning when I got up from my bed and I stepped down and my ankle got twisted and then the pain started, and her talking and the description was so live that I started getting pain in my body. So when she was telling her pathetic condition, her grandson called me. I said, Mama, wait, your grandson is calling me, I'll come back again. He told, Swamiji, how can you listen to grandma so many times the same thing he tells? I said, what can I do, tell me. No, what we do, you do that. I said, what do you do? Whenever she starts anything, we show her fingers. Meaning, grandma, you already told 4 times. Because old people don't remember what they have told to whom. So they again start. I say, hey, that's a good idea. I came back. He says, Swamiji, what I was telling you, I forgot. Okay, never mind. I start from the beginning. Alright? Is it a God story or what? So I started, I say, you told me 25 times, enough. Friends, don't talk about your miseries even by mistake. If somebody asks you, how are you? Fire! I am on the top of the world. Your whole mode will change. But our words should carry the meaning. See, one child with whom I was going for my lecture, her friend came. I said, hey, who is this girl? Swamiji, she is my classmate. I said, hey, how are you? I said, what is this reply? Tell properly. I don't know. I said, okay, I'll teach you. I'll ask you a question, how are you? You say, I am on the top of the world, okay? Hey, now start, yes. How are you? Oh, I am on the top of the world. Is this the way? Our words must carry the meaning. See, how are you? Anyway, I am on the top of the world. No. Bring your spirit. Live every moment 100%. Instead of that, we are living in fractions. We are never available 100% to ourselves. Our life is shattered. Part of our life is gone in the past. All the time thinking about the past, when we were children. Who cares? One of the simplest spiritual practices is this: don't talk about your past. Our children suffer because of us, because the past that we talk to them. Every time the same thing, same thing. See. One Indian family in Delhi, South Indian, Tamilians. So when I went to their house, I felt some very uncomfortable environment, climate. So that old man was sitting there. I said, hey, where are the kids? They had two sons. Both were going in college or 12th standard. So Swami, they are in their room. I said, okay, I went to their room. I said, hey, come on, we'll sit outside. Swami, what will I sit with my dad? The same thing he will tell when we were children, we are fed up. He doesn't have any other topic. I said, anyway, come. So we sat together. Then just to have fun, my life is full of fun. So to have fun, I thought, let me start playing game. I said, hey, you didn't buy that new shoe has come in the market? It's such a lovely shoe. Everybody has this. So I said to his father, why don't you give them new shoes? Before the father said, the child said, Swamiji, in our childhood, we never used to have shoes. We used to go to the school without shoes. Why the children want so many shoes? The child said, what was the dialogue of the father? And the father became very uncomfortable. Then I said, now what do you have to say? He said, Dad, look here. Your father was a poor guy. He didn't have money to buy the shoes. And his father was worse. He had no money even to have food. My father is rich. He can buy me 2 pairs per month. Why are you jealous? The son is telling to the father, my father is rich. Why are you jealous? See, friends, don't go in your past. One of the highest spiritual practice. Never talk about your past. Throw it away. And whenever you are happy, you are in the present. See? One day, one motorcycle boy in Bombay, he crossed the red light. And the police was standing there. He hailed him, stop. And he scolded him, didn't you see the red light? He said, yes, sir, I have seen the red light, but I didn't see you. Now, in this happy moment of yours, be attentive. In this happy moment, you are a man or woman, you are rich or poor, you are educated or uneducated. No, you are only happy. Happiness keeps you in the present without efforts. Death is in future, if it is. But when you discover there is no death, you will be perpetually happy. And when you are happy, everybody loves you. Everybody wants you. And when we are constantly complaining, frustrated, the people run away. Oh God, that fellow is coming, run away. Don't discover reason to be happy. Be unreasonably happy. See the joy of life. Because for everything there is a purpose, the purpose of our life is that we become an instrument for distribution of joy. That's it. God created stones, bricks, mountains, rivers, only existence. He was not happy. Then he created plant kingdom. In plant kingdom there is existence and life. God was not happy. Then he created animal kingdom. In animals, existence, life and knowledge. But God was not happy. So he was frustrated, I don't know what to do. His wife came. She said, may I suggest you something? So he said, what do you know? So she said, look here, even a dead clock gives 2 times correct time. I am your wife, I can tell you something. Okay, tell me. Why don't you create someone in your image? And thus, God created man in his image. God is all bliss. So, stones only existence, plants existence plus life, animals existence, life and knowledge, human beings existence, life, knowledge and bliss. If we fail to be an instrument to express happiness and bliss, he will correct his mistake and take us out of this instrument and put it in a lower one. Go there. See, friends, the only purpose of our life is only this much. Let us spread happiness by a simple thing. Don't talk your miseries to anybody. Be happy in the happiness of others. Don't talk about your past. Don't worry about the future. Future worry is like trying to solve a non-existing problem. I don't know what is going to happen to this world. If you don't know, be happy. If you know what is going to happen to this world in the future, be prepared. Where is a place to worry? The day you practice this, you are on the right track. And then the life will be fulfilled in us. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.